Good evening. Welcome to the October 24th, 2023 meeting of Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends and Daily Record newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me for a pledge of allegiance followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all of the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Marsh, if I can have you please call the roll.
Mr. Dreesy?
Present.
Mrs. Florence Lynch? Here. Mr. Hurd?
I am here.
Mrs. Russell? Here. Mayor Cole?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, next on the agenda, there's no presentations, and I don't see anybody that can do reports or comments from volunteers. Next on the agenda is public comment. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved for later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone and provide your name for the record.
We're getting rushed tonight.
Unless you want to wait to the second one.
Ross Mastretta.
Can you spell your last name?
It's M as in Mary, I-S, T as in Tom, R-E-T-T-A.
Thank you.
Cool. So, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. All right, so I met with the chief, I met with your traffic officer, I met with Lincoln Park, and if you know why I was here before, it's about the half marathon. Right? So we're looking to obviously reintroduce it to the community. I was here back in 2014, 15, and 16, and we're looking to bring it back to its original prowess. The course is very much more simplified now. I've actually done a schematic of the design, but I haven't certified it, and I can do that because I'm a USATF measurer. So we're looking to basically do a double loop through town. I think the Sergeant Cicchetti, he was over the moon in terms of how we would be able to staff it with 10 officers. So I have everything nailed down at that point in terms of, it's on April 7th. I don't know if anybody's told you when we were looking to do it. I've gone through all of the logistics. There is a couple of things I wanted to discuss with the council based on maybe your preference, and then try to figure out how do I gain the township's support for it before I actually start to move on anything. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in that post-planning stage. I think we have everything nailed down. All the components of the event are in place. Everything from sponsorship is written up to volunteers, where they're going to come from, to how we're going to publicize it. It's all basically ready. Now I just need to move on it. So it's about, what does this group need to feel comfortable with the event? So I'm here to answer any questions, but before that I just wanted to introduce another item that I think you'll be happy to know, or maybe not, I don't know, we'll see. So obviously a big event like this has a lot of people, right? And one of the concerns I think your neighbors or the people that live in this town would have is that there's a lot of cars everywhere that are going to come into this part of the township where Greenview is, because that's where the hosting site is. We're actually thinking about having everything staged in Wayne at the tribesmen, and actually bus them up and then bus them back. So the after party, everything would exist at the tribesmen and utilize the mother's lot, and then we would just literally have buses rotating through the area to keep things clean. So that's kind of something we're working on. The tribesmen are receptive. They haven't agreed to anything yet. Again, we're in that post-planning stage, but it looks probable. So I'm thinking that would be the best way to approach it. Keep things light, easy, contained, and allow us to basically have an event, walk through it, and then clean up and be gone.
Now, you mentioned the Tribesman is on one side and
Yeah.
the Mother's parking lot is on the other. I'm trying to
Yeah, so
understand the logistics.
you know where the brewery is?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the Mother's parking lot, which sits across the street. The Tribesmen don't have enough
Right.
parking.
Exactly.
And they leverage that lot, believe it or not.
Okay.
So,
they must have an agreement with...
They have a little bus driver guy that actually helps out now and again. I'm not relying on him. I'll have my own bus services that will be able to take people up to the brewery, to the lot, and then eventually, once we're through with Pequannock, just back and forth between those two locations until everybody's gone. So, just, the alcohol limit would be like, everybody would get a ticket. It's just one beer thing. It's not like, if they want to stay with their own money, they're more than entitled to do that. I can't tell them not to, but we're not basically driving an alcohol party. That's not what we're doing here.
So even though they're on two different sides of the highway, you're not even going into Pequannock when you're going back and forth. It's all
Wayne.
Wayne. Okay.
It's all Wayne. And the only reason I have that, by the way, is because I'm a Wayne resident. So
Wouldn't it be better just to have everything in Greenview Park? Is the start line going to be over there?
yeah, everything. Well, the race is going to be run from Greenview, so all the masses of people will be in the park. And when we stage it, they'll come to the starting line and they'll run. And then when they're done, there'll be a pickup stop that we'll set up. And I haven't really figured out exactly. It might be an and, because that seems like the best spot for it. We'll have them cross the street and then get on the bus and then be taken back to the Wayne location.
But why not just do everything at Greenview?
Only because we want to basically be out of the area. We don't want to overconsume it. I don't want anybody straggling behind. I want to be able to control how many people are in it during a window. And the only way to do that is to know and set timetables, right? When you run marathons, after 4 hours it's over, right, for a half marathon. Well, we also want to say the last bus is going to leave by this. So that kind of keeps everything in motion and clears everything out so everybody can get back to their normal routine once the event's over.
So how many people do you think you may have?
So Ryan knows me.
300 to 500?
It's probably on the north side of 5.
Well, if it's going to be a spring one.
Yeah.
It's going to be points,
Correct.
which is good. So then we're going to have real runners there, which is even better. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see, something at Greenview Park. I mean, I get what you're saying, and that makes sense. But it would also be interesting if the thing could be at Greenview Park. I mean, we're used to having cars and all that, because you'd be using the parking in the parking lot back.
But remember, I'm using the roads to run the race. So what I'm trying to do is not...
Keep the cars off the road.
Yes, exactly. So the idea is to keep the course clear as best I can, and if I don't introduce another car into that, I've got a pretty clean slate. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I want to make it as clean as possible.
And how long? 4 hours?
Well, 4 hours is the time limit on running it. There's usually like a 5 or 6 hour cap on the event. So if you started it at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're running it till like 2 in the afternoon.
So the roads have to be closed for 6 hours?
They're not going to be closed. They're going to be open to traffic. It's going to be marshaled by the officers at the basis points that we've agreed upon. So we'll have flagmen, we'll have volunteers, and we'll have officers all over the place. So there's basically going to be cones that'll be placed at the end of blocks so people understand. There'll be announcements made, and so forth and so on. But the police do not want to close the road.
So you said it's going to run a loop?
Right. Twice. Yeah, so it'll start in Greenview, it'll go up to 23, it'll come around the access road, which we have to get the DOT approval to do, which I've already done in the past. It goes all the way down into Lincoln Park. It goes across, sorry for this, Slingerland's is the last street in your town. Mm-hmm. It's the one after that, which is Lincoln Park, which Lincoln Park will help and assist with. They'll go across, back up West Parkway, and back around to the finish. So it'll be 2
Well, just my concern is we're shutting half the town down all day for something that's not even for town, and you're going to bust them in and out. So what do we get out of it?
Oh, all right. What's in it for me?
It's like we're going to come, make all this money, and then we're going to go. It's like, okay, then go someplace else. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no. So again, originally the event supported the rec department. So we just have to look into what we want to do. And again, obviously the officers are being paid, which is incidental overall, right? If there's a donation endowment, a figure that I can help with in the town to help with a function, I told Ryan I would take care of the entire opening of the trail. Just so you know, I would certify a course on it. I would basically execute the whole event for you for free. That was something that I had already said that.
Yeah, that's something we have to do with the county.
Right,
That
which-
might be a good 5K thing.
Yeah, 5K, absolutely. That wouldn't be a longer distance, that would be a 5K thing. Even though it's 5 miles contiguous, right?
Yeah.
It would be a good 5K, right, to open it. And I think we were talking about like the day that it was available, cutting the ribbon and essentially letting the runners at it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was one of the things.
I think there's still a lot of maybes, though. You're
Yeah, we
like,
don't even know
maybe
what
they're going to be bused, maybe we're going to do this, maybe...
Well, it all
I
can
think
be, it just has to be agreed to. That's why I'm here,
Yeah, and-
right?
The idea of busing the people, like, so they won't be standing around. When they're done, you're going to start taking people
Right,
elsewhere.
yeah,
So they're
yeah.
not all going
Well,
to
the first set are really fast.
because you're going to do all your festivities somewhere else.
Correct. The lion's share, if you think about how they're spanned out, the first, 50 runners
Yeah.
are faster than
Right.
the remaining pack. So it's usually around the 50 spot that the buses start.
all right, so, Bob,
Right.
how do we go about this? Because this isn't
Mayor, and Bob, if I could just...
our normal
I also have some concerns and questions too about how the money moves.
Okay.
Because from a procurement perspective, if this were something that the council were to approve, we're now essentially granting a license to somebody to have an event with our approval, which involves financial transactions.
A permit of some sort, yeah,
Right.
correct.
But I don't
So-
think we could ask for money for a license.
No, I'm not saying we don't have a fee for this, but it's like there's competitive procurement associated with transactions involving granting licenses. So you have to have some sort of solicitation. So I don't know how we select one person not knowing where the money's going.
Well-
I have a long list of questions
Okay. Yeah.
about all of this.
But and that's why I keep on going back to Greenville. So if this was an event, just like the Chamber of Commerce did, or Greg did with the music and all that stuff.
Right.
What's the difference if this was just an athletic event that had a half marathon that was a Greenview event as opposed to busing and everything I was talking about?
Well, one's
the
not
Greenview
for
event just
profit and
stays there.
support something from town, and the other is I don't know.
We had it at Greenview.
This is I don't know.
Yeah, we actually had a, after,
This is not
So it's really
this is
a-
not Rotary. This is not.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
course was
And Greg's
on the
event
same outer
stayed at
streets,
Greenview.
but there was an intralude.
This is going
So it
all over
wasn't-
town. It could affect, there's a church right near that.
West Parkway, the hospital. There's
So
a
what
lot
you're
of-
saying is they're for profit. How do we give a license to somebody for profit?
How do we pick somebody that's not a local not-for-profit to have an event like this?
Right. When we could say,
When like
Well, Rotary does.
using
Rotary
a different
does,
example, if
right?
you can allow a not-for-profit like Little League to operate a snack stand, but if Johnny's Tavern wants to come in and do it and make money off of it, there needs to be competitive procurement. So you stumble into different sets of laws.
makes sense.
I'm just not crazy about tying up half the town all day.
Yeah, me neither.
Well,
I mean,
it's not
if
going to be
it-
all day. It's early
If it
morning.
was
6
one loop,
hours.
that's one thing, but I mean, we're gonna be running in
Well,
circles.
there's
so
a lot less people
cars
in the
aren't
last
gonna
2
move.
hours.
It's done in the past.
And it's not like they stop the runners to let the cars go.
Well, so I did talk to the traffic supervisor, and
Right, exactly.
anything that happens with the hospital, if it inflects on the course, the runners are going to be told to stay aside, and there'll be course marshals there to enforce that. So yeah, there are certain things we have to be perceptive of. So we're well aware of that. I've done many events in this town. I did the apple chases. I've done the Run for Marge. I've done all of these different events under different, like a timer, event-driven, with Andy Ball, I did a couple years back. I've done them all. I know what you guys are looking at. You have to come to terms with the relationship. I think that's the biggest piece of it, as you indicated.
For profit event.
And the other thing that we need to come to terms with.
We give a portion of our funds to whatever nonprofit we agree upon. We have used a number of them in the past.
Okay, so but it's a for-profit
It's
event.
a for-profit event,
Okay.
absolutely.
The other thing that we need to do.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's
we-
fine.
We've sort of like stopped granting
Right.
new ones because the first aid squad
Right.
is stretched.
Stretched.
I would
And
imagine that you're going to want them there.
We can hire a first aid.
And a lot of people complained.
I don't remember a lot of people complaining.
So I guess, Bob, how do we,
Well, I think what has to happen,
I don't think we're going to be able to make a decision tonight.
no, I don't know that you need to. I think what we need administratively is some direction as to whether the council wants us to work on. These are issues that we can work on. Now, we can come up with a competitive way to do this. We can come up with a process, right, and go through what you need to do to make this work. We actually have in our code, we have an ordinance that covers events, the carnivals are covered by that. I think we had a horse show that was covered by that. Those have always taken place, though, on private property, and we've regulated it because we need to know what's going to happen, and we need to be prepared for it.
Sure.
This doesn't sound like so much to be prepared for it. It sounds like you've got that pretty much under.
Yeah, we're covered.
It's whether or not, as just a matter of policy, the council feels like we should be pursuing this as something that we have an opportunity to do. And if we do, Adam's question about procurement would be answered by, we have to recognize it could be open to others who want to also.
So if somebody else
engage in
decides to
profit.
come in and do a race the following week,
Well, we could probably
that has
limit
to
the
be
number of
put
them.
in, yeah.
We'd have to limit.
How did we do this in the past? Because we've had half marathons multiple times. So
Well,
how
first of
have
all,
we-
when it's not a profit-making issue, when it's for a charitable event, that we've just always handled by having the council approve the charitable event.
was it
I think up to this point, that's all I'm aware of. that
Yeah, they were
we're-
charities, because it was the Chilton Hospital Memorial Charities the first year, and then the rec department
The
took over.
run for Mike Capola, I think.
Right.
Yeah, they were
What
all
about
charitable.
what about the one that was in the lake?
In
the Tri.
the lake.
Yeah, we did a try the one year.
They did a
Triathlon,
swim, run, and bike.
Swim, run,
The
bike.
triathlon, were you involved in?
yeah, we did a triathlon.
That's Greg DeBeeson.
That was
Right.
Greg.
Yeah, he
But
worked
was
with me on the
that
half
a
marathon a couple years.
Was that a nonprofit? Do you remember?
You'd have to ask him. I don't know. I mean, I know that he was involved with the rec department. That's how the rec
that's so
department got
sure
involved with
it
half
was.
marathon.
Yeah, and of course, rec sponsorship turns it into a township event.
Right.
And that's that's a whole different story.
If people are writing checks to Pequannock Parks and Rec, it's a different.
Right.
Right.
Why can't you run through town and then run down Conley Road and back Beaverbrook or something? Because, that would be, you're in and you're out. Here, you're in and then you're in, and it's like...
Yeah, I mean, you could probably come
Just
up with
seems too much to me.
another design. You're probably but it's a lot of other enforcement that needs to go in. So now I have two police departments. Lincoln Park is basically just looking at the bottom end of the township. I mean, they literally have two people that are going to be there.
No, I get it, and it's good and the police are in it. They're making money.
Right.
They're not...
No, they're not doing it for
addressing the
free.
residents
They're not doing it for
complaining
free.
because they can't, because...
Yeah.
My mom's friend can't go out and go to A and B because she's stuck there for 20 minutes.
Well, think about it. I mean, one thing about this town, which I lived here, by the way, for several years. So the one thing I love about this town is North Turnpike acts as a thoroughfare, which is not going to be touched.
Okay.
It's the Boulevard and West Parkway that are going to play the circle, right? So I know that North Turnpike is the thoroughfare.
So, I guess we're gonna ask the council, Melissa, do you think that we should have Adam and Bob move forward to explore this, or?
They can explore it. I just know this came up years ago, and we were always concerned with, where do you say no? Like you said, something about limiting the number, because you're going to have all these towns all organizations want to do different things here, because it's a perfect running
flat
spot.
town.
Well, from
But
running events, yeah, this is a
if
perfect.
you feel like it wouldn't be, too much of a drain to pull something together, to just say,
Well, it's not just us pulling it together, it's also, he needs to know.
Right.
We can't keep this out, up there as a possibility without knowing. I think we need to have a policy decision.
Yeah.
Do we want to do these kinds of things?
What is the benefit to Pequannock?
right, that's
I mean,
exactly what John asked.
well, there's a number of other ancillary, so businesses can get involved. We haven't had a chance to approach them all because we're not at that approval stage, right? So we want to bring in your local business. Like I would go over to Cavern 5 and have them come in. I would go.
Yeah, but what would Tavern 5 do?
They would basically market themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a number of different things they could do. I mean, they can have a water stop and basically market themselves. They could do
Yeah, I can't
a
see
host of
that.
things.
Yeah, but you have a lot of runners in this town. We probably have 10 runners that are doing the New York City Marathon in 2 weeks.
Well, it'd be a
I know.
This town
qualifier.
has a running
I know, but
community.
we don't have 500 runners. Like I said,
Take a look at Pequannock Running Club.
And
I'm
you're
not even
gonna-
sure we do, unless there's a way for...
We do have 500 runners.
I think it's a little bit too much. I mean, if everybody else wants to do it, I just think it's a little bit too much. And
What if we did this? What if
I
we
agree
tried
with
the
John.
first year
I
as a
agree with John,
10K,
too.
I
so
say
it's
no.
one loop around?
I mean, if it's a 5K, it's one thing. You know, that you're in and out in 2 hours, you're done, finished, complete. Here we're running around in circles. Well,
that's the whole thing
I'm not
of
saying it's
running,
that. I mean, I'm all in for the fitness stuff. I just think it's a little bit
Big Bend Parliament.
too much.
Unless there was a big benefit.
Here's the
for us.
problem, if we grant a new one, and someone else comes in,
Yeah.
we're probably going to have a time. Right now, we've said that we're going to stay with the ones that we've had.
Yeah.
And not really grant any new ones. At least that's what I
That's what
remember.
we've done before, yes.
I mean, this would be grandfathered, I would consider, because we've done it before, right? It's the same group of people.
We've done it before.
But you've only done it for a charity.
Yeah,
Well, that's true.
yeah.
That's true.
So what do you want?
I've matured from that.
I,
It sounds like.
the straw poll,
it
I
sounds like
heard
we're
3
saying
that
no.
said no, so I
Right,
didn't,
yeah.
I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth.
Well, all right.
I need direction from you guys. I can't give myself direction.
Go to the stop sign, make a left.
I know, Ryan, you're in favor. Kyle, you're not in favor?
No.
I don't think I'm in favor either. John?
I'd like a 5K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got one.
I think that's-
But you've got one. You've got
Before I
the
say.
margin, which, by the way, I
But I'll
certify.
say no, because
So-
I am afraid we're opening up a can of worms.
Are you worried about the commercial aspect of it, like the non-for-profit versus profit, or?
I'd say for me, it would be the nonprofit versus profit, and the fact that.
And you're tying up 6 hours of the time.
There's a lot of
Really 6 hours.
fundraisers
6
where we do
hours.
5Ks, but we do
The
have.
race is 4 hours is racing.
And then.
A normal half marathon takes 2 hours to run by an average person, right? And then you think about what lingers beyond that point. So, I mean,
He will only have fast runners at this race.
Okay, let's not go there.
All right.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
whatever, it's fine.
So, are we good, Bob, or what do you want
I
to
think
do?
you've given us
Direction's given.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe we want to try it again in another year or so. But, I think we stay with what we got for now.
Okay.
Thanks, Ross.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment?
Not like we have any business.
Come on up.
I'm Mary Kay Schmerman. I live in Pompton Plains.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Could you, I'm sorry, Mary,
Mary Kay Schmerman.
could you spell that?
Sure. SCHMERMUN.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, I have a couple questions, but my first thing is I'd like to thank the people that keep our lake open during the summer. We've used it for many years. We've lived here since 1985. And we finally went back this summer, which was just wonderful because it was so hot. We went every day. And since we're senior citizens, there's a special membership for senior citizens, which is great. And since our daughter lives out of town, she was able to get an out-of-town membership. So it really is, I wanted to thank all the people that keep it going like this. And
It is a true
So-
treasure of Pequannock.
we are very, very fortunate, yes. And then my questions are, is there an update about the trees that, have they started being planted or will they be planted? Wasn't there a grant of some sort? Or am I, that's my first question.
To be planted where?
Well, wasn't there a
The
grant for?
shade tree got a
The
grant.
shade tree?
But to
and-
plant where at, she's talking?
Well, a couple years ago,
Residences.
Right, the residents.
all over.
Oh,
On the street.
Yeah, when she said lake, I was
Residents
trying
got
to think
notice
of-
and they could say that they didn't want them or they wanted
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, so I had put in for a tree to be planted, and other people on my street were asking, well, where and when are the trees being planted? So I didn't know where that might be. So I'm only asking for an update as to if anybody knows.
Go ahead, Mr. Brewer.
I actually just sent an email to the Public Works Director this afternoon.
You're kidding.
I kid you not, asking him, where are we with the grant and what's the status of it?
No.
So serendipitous that you asked the question. I didn't get a response yet.
No.
But I'll leave you my card and give me a call
Okay.
tomorrow and I can get you an update. I know the grant exists and I know they were working to finalize the types of trees and work out the details of where they were going to get them all. But as far as timing goes, I can check and get you an update.
Okay.
I would say it's probably going to be in the spring of 2024
Right,
now.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Because the season with the frost.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen now.
Yeah, we're too close to the frost line right now.
And where is the update of the 60 Sunset? Is there an update on whether or not that's...
That is the
Are you
zo-
allowed to tell me? or-
It's ongoing.
That is the zoning board of
It's still on.
adjustment.
It's still ongoing.
The next meeting is November 8th, which I believe is a Wednesday
Wednesday, November 8th.
at the high school.
Thank you. And I was just curious, I've been going to the library quite often, And I was just wondering, the parking lot looks like it could use some repair. Do you know who's responsible for paving that, or is it who's responsible for paving that and at one point in time, or how do you assess that?
The recommendation from the township engineer went to the library director to consider that with some suggestions, so I would recommend following up with her.
But is the library itself responsible for paying for the paving, or is the town itself responsible for paving?
My understanding through my conversations with the township engineer and why he made the recommendation is that it's the library's responsibility.
Even though people from all over and PV school go there all the time?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, next on the agenda is the manager's report.
Thank you, sir. First thing comes with an apology. The last meeting we discussed the required Board of Health meeting, and a recommendation was to have that at 6 o'clock. I followed up with the responsible staff. He said it's never been an hour, it's only been a half an hour. So he didn't want to belabor the council's time that evening. So if it's all right, if there's no objection, we'll move it to 6:30.
That's
No
fine.
objection.
On the 28th
On the
of
28th,
November.
which is our next meeting.
Correct, which is just prior to our next meeting of the Township Council. Next item in my report is the 2023 Best Practices Inventory. As is an annual tradition, the Department of Community Affairs puts out what it considers its best practices, which is included in the council's packet under notices and reports. And we are required to meet a certain minimum score, otherwise they will withhold state aid. This year, a 29 was required, and we scored a 40.
Wow.
So we're much better.
Good job.
There were only a few questions we had to say no to. One example being we just don't have an electric charging station on municipal property at this point. Just couldn't really find a good spot for one right. And then the last is this evening the council has for its consideration resolutions reassigning contracts from crew engineers to H2M. As the council may recall, these were authorized with Alec Midiga as the professional. With H2M buying crew engineering, I learned that they would have to retain a very expensive insurance policy unless we transfer these. So unless the council has an objection, I thought it was an easy business move to help the professionals who have helped us.
Good.
Any other items? If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, that is my report for this evening.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Brewer. All right, next is public hearings, and there are no public hearings scheduled for tonight, and then there are no ordinances for introduction. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with Resolution R 2023-212, authorizing the acceptance of a hold harmless agreement from Anthony and Janet Polzella for Block 1303, Lot 47, which is 42 Hopper Avenue. 2023-213, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2023 budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:487. 2023-214, confirming the designated memberships in the Pequannock Township Fire Department. 215, authorizing the use of Union County Cooperative Pricing System for the purchase of IT infrastructure, fiber optic network advanced applications and services from JCT Solutions for Phase 2 of the Enhancing Local Public Health Municipal Building Security Enhancement Project in the amount of $104,463.53. 2023-216, authorizing the assignment of contracts with the township from Crew Engineers Incorporated to H2M Architects and Engineers Incorporated. And 2023-217, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the October 19th, 2023 bill list and 2018 FEMA elevation escrow list.
All right, are there any comments on the resolutions from council?
Just real quick, we had H2M, and then we left them and went to Crew, and now H2M bought Crew?
No.
We've always had crew.
H2M did the master plan?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, but our engineers were Crew, so now they've just okay, got it.
Consolidation.
This JCT, they've been here, because I thought I saw the truck out.
Yes, this is fully supported by the grant that was secured.
They're doing
by the Health
security?
Department. The cameras and the access points to the municipal building. This is phase 2, so yes.
Okay.
Okay.
There were 2 tranches of grant money, so we did phase 1 in the first tranche, and this is now the second.
Okay. Any other questions? No, sir. Is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-212 through 2023-217.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. All right, next is discussion. There are no discussions scheduled for tonight. Then reports and notices, and there's nothing there. Next item on the agenda is council reports and announcements. Councilman Dracy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple things. Congratulations to Mr. Brewer and the staff on the best practice score. That's pretty cool. I mean, talk about beating it by a long shot. We did, so that's good. Congratulations to Kylie for joining the fire department. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Hope all goes well. And then just a shout out to, and a big thank you to all our crossing guards out there watching the kiddos crossing the street. So parents, just watch the crossing guards. Listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dracy. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Okay, just a couple things. The flood committee met, but they did not have a quorum. This was their last meeting of the year since they changed it to quarterly. They're not reconvening again until January. The committee, most of the members who have been around for years, discussed the possibility of dissolving the committee, especially since we have Jennifer as our flood resilience officer and a lot of work is being done in-house. Although it's a council decision, I'd hate to dissolve it, especially because now, if anything, we should be looking for new people who would like to work on the committee moving forward. Now with the adoption process still having to be complete, I feel the committee can work on things to help with outreach and information to the public and, that type of thing. And it's only a matter of time before we have another flood. So I don't know. Huh?
Let's go to quarterly.
Well, we did. But what I'm saying is the current flood committee, I don't think, most of them aren't coming back next
When
year.
was the last time you had a quorum?
2 or 3 meetings ago. But I mean, and the problem is we just need new blood, is what I'm really saying.
I would see if you can get new people to sign up for
Exactly.
next year.
And that's exactly my...
If we have enough people?
Yeah, so I just want to make sure everybody's on board with feeling that the committee should stay, should help, and we'll just do more outreach to get new members.
That's also part of our CRS rating.
Yeah, and that was the other thing I brought up. I felt that with the CRS rating, we're going to need that as well, because they'll help with public outreach, correct? Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's required or we actually get points for it as a...
All right.
That's what we did.
But anyway, again, thank you everyone for their hard work on the maps. Now that the flood maps have been released and delivered, the map adoption process is going to take another 6 to 8 months. So I think, kudos to everybody on that.
Kudos.
All that work. A couple of residents had asked me about, I guess this brown water issue is still a problem for some households, and I'm just wondering if you know.
Is it only during hydrant flushing?
Yeah, they're
or-
flushing hydrants.
No, it's an ongoing issue, and who knows, it might only be 2 homeowners because they're both in the same place.
I would say to have them call the...
Which they have.
Water.
Yeah, and they're told that it's being worked on. It's the very north end of town. I just wondered if...
I received one complaint and spoke with the water operator and responded back to the resident that they were trying to figure it out. They were going to go out and it was towards the end of the line and it might be a sediment
And
issue.
they did say it was over, and this has been over 2 months, so they're just wondering, is there an update? Or are they still trying to...
It could be the one that I spoke with, so if you wouldn't mind just share the contact information and I'll...
Okay, let me just give it to you or say it now.
Whatever your pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 10 Mountain.
Okay.
10 Mountain?
Yeah. No.
And they haven't called Adam?
They have.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's the one you talked to, but...
I don't either. I don't know the address.
Yeah.
I have to go check my notes.
Yeah,
But,
the last name is Daniel.
okay, I don't know.
That's Jay's old house.
Who? Dr. Bogart's old house. Jane Daniel.
Oh.
Yeah, he doesn't mind me saying it.
Oh, he's nervous because he's selling?
I thought you said Daniel.
No, Daniel. No, actually, it's been going on even before he listed, and it's an ongoing issue. He wrote a letter. He copied me. He told me, I told him I'd bring it up at the council meeting. I did see it again today when I was there. So.
I'll follow up with the water department.
Okay. As many of you know, there was a car accident on Lincoln Park Road. I guess maybe 2 weeks ago? I don't know how many people knew about it, but apparently there was a young kid speeding on Lincoln Park Road coming out of Pequannock, and one of our residents was hit. He was going to go to the council meeting tonight. Of course, wanting us to do something about the speeding. I said to him, no, we're not, it's a county road, we're not going to, be able to reduce the speed limit or do speed bumps, but I did wonder if we could have more police presence there, because I did talk to a number of people, and it is like, they do say it's a speedway for these young kids. They go down the turnpike and see how fast they can take the turn, on Lincoln Park Road. Both ways.
Has there been a lot of accidents there?
That's what I'm hearing. So I just wondered, I didn't know, maybe if there was some presence there and they gave out some tickets, unless we can do a sign that says, slow down, dangerous curve. I just wondered if we could follow up and see if that's been
I'll follow up and ask the police department to do targeted enforcement.
Yeah.
We do have a list of requests that we get. I haven't heard anything specifically about this area. Unfortunately, speeding is a problem everywhere.
Yeah, and of course, it's our own
You have an incident, and so I'll follow up with the police department and ask the traffic or the community services bureau to do some targeted enforcement.
All right. Thank you for that. Just wanted to mention the hoedown. It was terrific. Great job to everyone who was involved in that. The weather was great. Thanks to the Firehouse Company, too, for holding a successful fish and chips event the other night. And then my senior citizen advisory group, they met. I don't know if anybody knows, there was the Senior Olympics they did that was hosted in Wayne. It was a successful event. That's where a lot of the different towns get together, and Wayne sponsored it this year. That was back on September 30th. I was asked just to let the council know the Senior Citizen Advisory Group was kind of revamping themselves and working with Parks and Rec to update their website, their web page, because there was no information, they said, about seniors on the website. So they did work with Parks and Rec to get that more updated and put some information on there about the senior house and put the calendar out there. They're working hard to disseminate information. When the calendar's put together with all the events that are going on the senior house, whether it's with the private membership group or whether it's with the town, they want to be able to make sure everybody has the information. So they're delivering it to the library and town hall and the senior center and Hurl Village. They did ask again about Channel 77, which I know was something you were working on. But I didn't.
The township's consultant and Cablevision are fighting about it, so the status of that has not changed.
Right. And the only other thing they wanted me to ask, and I said we're kind of in the middle of budget requests now, they just wondered, will the Senior Citizen Advisory Group still have a line for a budget item? And I said, yeah, they've had for years, and that's for things for the entire, for that group to use for all seniors in town. So I told them I didn't know what the number was yet, but it was probably the same as it's been in the past.
Unless the council feels different, they would leave it as it was.
Everybody puts in a request, correct?
Well, a lot of the advisory groups don't necessarily put in requests, and their budgets are just allowed to carry.
Right.
They're a few $1,000s. It's not high finance.
And that was it. Congratulations to Kylie Crow for membership as a junior firefighter. And other than that, that's my report.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Florence Lynch. Councilman Hurd.
Mayor?
You're up.
All right. Congratulations to our award-winning marching band, as usual. This Thursday, they're going to have a showcase. Doors open at 6 p.m. They go on at 6:30. And this is because our beginning of the year, competition was unfortunately canceled because of rain. But these kids work so hard that they want to show the town what's going on. And we only have 2 more competitions left. So this is a great way to stop by, support your high school marching band, which is one of the top ones in the nation. So again, it's this Thursday, October 26th. Doors open at 6, show is at 6:30.
How long do you think it'll go, Ryan?
Show is less than 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
they're
to
just
show what
on
we're
the
doing.
field?
Yeah, they're on the field. We have
And
all of
it's at
our...
what time?
6:30 they go on, doors open at 6. Yeah, it's a phenomenal show, actually, and we've got a ton of parent volunteers that are helping out, a ton of trees. You're going to see it's different and cool. So, and this is what we're bringing to states and nationals, which are the next 2 weekends. So, it'd be great to see you all there. And you know how we always talk about our volunteers, you know, Fire Company 1, Fire Company 2, First Aid Squad, and of course our police. We know what they do. We always thank them. But it's very interesting when we get an email, you know, from somebody that was personally affected, and First Aid Squad gets that once in a while. But here's one that I want to read because I thought it was really interesting. It was because of a person that was out of town. They were visiting somebody here. But what it was is, just want to inform you that Mr. Edwards called to show his appreciation for how well the above incident was handled, which involved his 8-year-old daughter having a seizure. He specifically stated that response time was very swift and that the professionalism and efficiency by all that responded was outstanding. Mr. Edwards was very appreciative of all that was done for his daughter, including her transport to Chilton, and the care they received there. He stated they are home in Arizona, and his daughter had an appointment with their pediatrician this morning. Great work to all. So that was to our police department, it was First Aid Squad, and Saturday crew was Tyler, Allison, and Sean. So again, this is what they do. They do it while we're sleeping, they do it overnight, they do
They were at
it...
the Baymont.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was phenomenal. So I just want to, you know, we talk about, we thank them and all that, but it's always nice to get that letter. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Russell.
Yes, and piggybacking on you, they always need volunteers.
Yes, they do.
They always need volunteers. They work so hard. They always need volunteers. Library meeting, the next meeting is not going to be held is pushed back a week because of plans. November 29th, at the last library meeting, we got to see a look at the potential reconfiguration of the library room. Just making the space more usable, adding some meeting rooms in the back. Very exciting stuff happening. Planning board meeting on November 6th. Environmental will meet on the 8th. Congratulations to Kylie also. I wanted to talk briefly about something I saw on Facebook, and while I usually don't go on Facebook, I happen to see it. A woman was at the shoe store and she left her bike in front. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Okay.
And she had her purse in there. And the kids came and took her purse and were almost like playing monkey in the middle with it. And it had her credit cards. And I don't know why she didn't call the police, but she wound up leaving. And it turned out because somebody had found her credit card on the ground at Quick Check. And then the story came out. So, you know, just have a talk to your kids. They really should be respectful. And, you know, we can't have this. We have a great town, and this is kind of the stuff that we don't want in our town. And have a talk to your kids. Ask them where they are. Ask them what they're doing. Ask them why they're hanging out till 1 o'clock in the morning at the train station. It's a shame, and it's sad.
I'll add something to that. If you see something like that happen, step in and try to help.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure people saw that lady struggling with these kids and probably did nothing.
Right. Yeah, and it's really sad, and I don't know, the lack of respect. You know?
Unfortunately, don't let a few punks
Right.
for everybody else.
Exactly.
We really do have a good town.
We have a great town, but, you know, have a talk
Things
with
like
your kids.
that,
Ask
yeah.
them. Better not be you know? And the hoedown was great. Great call, Adam.
Yeah.
To those,
was a
you
collective
and
group.
everybody else and the whole group. pushing that back to Sunday. I know that was a really hard thing to decide. It's never easy to decide to push something back. What if the weather's worse? The weather turned out to be fantastic. I was at a golf outing earlier in the day for where Angels play, the Savino Foundation, for the playground, and that was so well attended. And then afterwards, I went up there and the hoedown was still going strong. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Unfortunately, this Thursday, Ryan, I won't be able to make it because we have the junior football program coming to the high school football dinner, which is always...
They were undefeated.
Which is always...
The juniors, yes.
The JV, high school JV,
yeah.
but the junior, the kids, the young kids are
The
coming.
little guys.
Which is always a little chaotic, so. Our dinner starts at 6, so I'm probably going to go to like 7:15, somewhere around there, so. But, I am going to say, come out this Friday. The high school football team is their conference champs. You can come out, watch the football game, first playoff game in a long time. You can stay and watch the band. They are going to perform, I think,
They are going to perform
this Friday.
So they are going to be there.
Yeah, so, come out and watch the football game. Congratulations to Kylie Crow for the fire department. Both fire departments met after our last meeting because they had some conflicts. I'll ditto what Kyle said. Great job with the hoedown, and it was a blessing that we moved it to Sunday instead of Saturday. I had the pleasure of marrying a young couple on the 16th. I met with the Cub Scout group at Hillview School on the 17th. They needed to interview someone about local town politics for one of the badges that they're getting. This Thursday at 8:15 in the morning, I'm going to the PTHS Hospitality Management class. They did some stuff about Pequannock, how, trying to showcase Pequannock. And I have some sad news. This Thursday will be Eileen Capotis passed away, if you haven't heard. So her wake will be this Thursday. That's a former councilman and Mayor Nick Capotis' wife. She struggled with cancer for a while now. She passed away this week. And if it's okay with you, I think we should try to get a couple dates on the calendar to meet and talk about the committees. And also, Bob said January 9th would be okay for the reorg meeting. I think everybody said it would be okay. So we're going to do it an hour before.
Yeah.
And then have the regular meeting at the regular time? Sure.
All right. I wanted to throw out a couple dates for meeting. We could do like December 6th, and then we could do maybe an hour before our meeting on the 12th if needed for committees. If that works for everyone?
That works for me.
December 6th.
That's the first Wednesday of the month, right? Is there a committee? I don't have the committee schedule with me.
Seems fine.
You want to do 6 o'clock?
Sure.
6 o'clock work for everyone?
That works for me.
I could do 5 if you would.
I mean, I could do 5 too, but I don't know if that works for everybody
Yeah, I
else.
could do 5 too.
I can.
I'm hoping I'll be back then. I'm supposed to be, similar to what we go to with the league, I'm supposed to be there for the real estate convention, and that's the 4th to the 6th, but I'll probably come back early. So you're thinking the 6th at what time?
If at 5 o'clock, make it easier for Carol.
Yeah, I can do 5.
I can
Really?
be back by then.
Works.
I can
5 o'clock, Carol? We'll send out a
Sure.
reminder.
That's great.
5
then-
o'clock on
I'll
the
get
6th.
that.
And I want to ask everybody,
What
if
was
you
the other
have
day?
committees and you know there's openings,
Yeah.
let's
Reach out
not
to
wait
people.
until at the 6th to go, oh, I'll ask so-and-so. Let's get it done so that we can fill all of our committees.
And then the second meeting, if needed, will be an hour before our regular meeting on the 12th.
Got it.
Does that work?
That works.
Well, let's try to hash it out on the 6th, if we can.
I'm sorry, when's the second one? On the
An hour
12th?
before our regular meeting on the 12th.
If for some reason I find out I'm not going to be back, I can call in, I guess. But I'll try to get back. I don't think I have to.
All right, so I think that's everything that I have. Next on the agenda, there is public comment. Miss, if you'd like to make another public comment, you're the only one here, so. If not, the agenda, next on the agenda is minutes for approval. We have September 26th. Mr. Dreesy and Mrs. Russell has to abstain, and then we have October 10th. Can I get a motion to approve those meetings?
I'll make that motion.
Second? I'll second.
For that one? I just want to make sure I was here for that.
Are there any comment, oh, I'm sorry, is there any comments on the minutes? Sorry, did that out of order.
Okay. No comments.
Yeah, which one did you just do?
I'm abstaining
26th?
from the one I
Did
have
the
to.
26th and the
Yeah,
10th.
I had to abstain. I wasn't here on the 26th.
Then the minutes are wrong.
Wait,
Yeah, I was here for both meetings.
no, that's the one I was missed.
Is that the meeting that you were?
You missed one.
I was on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was not here on the 26th.
one-
I was away.
Me too.
Yeah, so you just have to abstain, yes.
Yeah,
I was
so
in
I
August.
abstained on the 26th.
I missed one in August.
I'm abstaining where I have to abstain.
Okay, so who's abstaining, Carol, on the 26th? Melissa and John?
Yes.
Okay. So Kyle, or Brian, you motioned?
Motion.
Yes,
I did the second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And they're abstaining from the ones that they have to.
And who's abstaining on the 10th?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Okay.
We're all here.
Oh, I thought he said me.
We're all here.
You were on the phone, but you were here.
All right, there's no item scheduled for closed session. There being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned 7:49.